So now that we figured out how to spin the motors or spin the motor groups at a constant velocity, in this case 100% velocity, we want to figure out how to use the controller, specifically the joysticks on the controller, in order to alter the velocity or spin the motors at different speeds based on how you move the joystick. So to do so, we'll begin by taking out this 100, firstly on the left side motor group, and then we'll type controller 1. This is the name of my controller, so just type the name of your controller, period, and we'll type axis 3. So if you look at your controller, you should see by the left joystick the number 3 and 4. So 3 corresponds to the left joystick y-axis, and we know this because it has arrows pointing up and down right next to it. So in this case, we're going to be using our left joystick and the y-axis to get user input to control the motors and change up the speeds. So then, after axis 3, we'll type period, and then position, and then parentheses, and we don't need to put anything in the parentheses. So now on the right side, we'll do the exact same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy what we put right here and put it right here. So what controller 1 period axis 3 period position parentheses actually does is returns a value on a scale of -100 to +100. And that's the range of values produced is based on the input of the joystick on the y-axis. So what does this mean? If I press the joystick completely forward or completely upwards in the y direction, it will return, or controller1.axis3.position parentheses will return a value of 100. If I push it completely downwards in the y-axis direction, or backwards, I guess, controller1.axis3.position parentheses will return a value of -100. And if I leave the joystick just to sit there idly so I don't mess with it, controller1.axis3.position parentheses will return the value 0 or no input. And so this gives us direct control over what speeds or what velocities the motors and motor groups spin at. So if I press completely forward, since controller1.axis3.position parentheses returns a value of 100, this in turn will spin the motors in each motor side or motor group side, left and right, at 100% velocity. And if I press the controller or the left joystick completely downwards, the y-axis, controller1.axis3.position parentheses returns a value of -100. And therefore, each side, or the left side and the right side motors and motor groups, will spin 100% velocity in the backwards. So, and then if I don't mess with the controller at all, if I just leave it idle, then it gives 0% input, so the motors spin at 0% speed, which is just 0, so they don't spin. Okay, and so again, it's a range of values. So if you press the controller forward maybe half the distance to the top, then controller1.axis3.position parentheses returns 50. So now it will run the left side and the right side motor groups at 50% velocity. So this is how we can actually drive our robot forwards and backwards based on our left joystick y-axis.